Now, she is best known, of course, for playing Linda Carter in EastEnders, but now Kellie Bright is fronting the latest Panorama documentary in which she meets parents like herself who have fought long and hard to get the right education for their children who have autism.
I have wanted to make a documentary about special educational needs for a really long time. I have a son. He is autistic, he has ADHD, and he's dyslexic. To try and get the support that you need, you have to fight every step of the way. It has been 8 months of such hard work and perseverance and fighting. I hear from lots and lots of families about how the system is broken, how things need to change, and so I want to shine a light on it.
Well, Kellie Bright joins me now. You certainly have shone a light on it. I mean, the Panorama programme, it's available in iPlayer just now, but it was actually so interesting to hear your struggle, because it is a struggle, isn't it? And you said it's exhausting. Just first of all, to get your child assessed is the first hurdle, right?
It's the first hurdle of many, and I think once you sort of become a SEND parent, because your child becomes a child with special educational needs and disabilities, which is what it stands for.
That's
SEND. Once you're sort of in that, there's one hurdle after another, after another. But yes, it starts with the assessment, and that little clip you showed at the beginning was the first sort of bit I ever put out there in the world. It actually took me a week to post it. Part of that was because I wasn't sure if I wanted to, and part of it was because I didn't know how to.
Right, I'm with you. So, get a 5-year-old child, get a small
to
child.
Get someone to help
you.
me.
Of course you do.
So, but I really, that was the first time that I put my toe in the water, and the response was, at that time, particularly, I didn't post a lot of stuff on social media, and the response was overwhelming. It was like opening a floodgate, and I had people like, you know, one of our lighting directors who I'd worked with for 10 years, an old man who I've barely said anything to, coming up to me, talking to me about his own experience with his children, then his children's experience with his grandchildren. And I suddenly was like, oh, this is huge, and actually, even if it doesn't affect you directly, you will know someone who it does.
Of course you will, but it's such a battle, you know, to get the right education, to get the right, to make sure that your child is getting what your child needs.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Gosh, you do have to fight, don't you?
You do, and because one of the hardest things, a great analogy is having a round peg and a square peg and a round hole, sorry.
Gotcha.
You know, education is the round hole, and you have a child with SEND, they're the square peg.
Okay.
But actually, children with SEND are lots of different shaped pegs. That's one of the things I would say, and one of the things I think we highlighted really well in the programme.
Different.
Every kid is different, even if they have the same diagnosis.
Of course.
You know, our families that we met, you know, there were 3 very different children with very different needs, but you know, their diagnosis is the same. They're all autistic. But really, it does leave you lost as a parent, because if your child doesn't fit that round hole, what do you do? Yeah. What do? You then have to try and find a way to get the right provision, the right support for your child within an education setting, whatever that looks like.
But you would sort of think, naively, on the outside, I would sort of think, oh, well, that's great, so you just do that. So you go down that path, but actually it's not made particularly easy for you, I have to say, having looked at some of the forms that you have to fill in, for goodness sake.
Yes, it's a very long-winded, it's very, you know, there's a lot to it. Lots of parents end up having to pay for someone like a SEND advocate to help them even navigate the system. Lots of people don't have that money.
No, of course they don't. And
you know,
some people are having to give up their jobs.
You know,
that happens. Or take time off their work to try and get this sorted out.
All the time I hear it again and again of parents having to leave their roles. I mean, 2 of the mums that we featured in the documentary have both left their jobs. One was a teacher, one's a midwife. You know, but what do? If you've got a child that's not being educated, or perhaps they're out of school a lot, you know, one of the little girls that we showed, you know, sometimes it can take her mum 3 hours to get her into school.
Sure.
You can't maintain a job.
No.
You know, if you're...
And you need support.
Yeah. So
you need the best support you can.
It's really hard, and I did want to make those families feel seen and heard, because I think a lot of the time you feel so isolated and like you're on your own, and really you're not. there are other people out there going
Well,
through
that's
the
the
same
great thing. There is a community there, and you've definitely tapped into that. And all of a sudden, people don't feel so alone.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can just feel it's just you.
Yeah.
Battling this massive system,
And it is a
and drowning in red tape, and
It's
thinking,
really hard
what am I
to
gonna
push
do?"
against that tidal wave, you know, that is the education system.
But it's crazy. It's there for us. It should be easier to do.
Well,
it doesn't make any sense at all to me.
As far as, you know, I made the documentary because I wanted to highlight what was going on, but equally because I want the people that make the decisions, that make the system, you know, I want them to see it and go, oh, OK. Like, really get the impact of what is happening down there on the ground with these families day to day.
And don't lose sight of the fact that all these kids are individual human beings.
Yeah.
You know, and as you said, they're all different as well. So you can't. It's not one size fits all.
Not at all.
That's never going to work.
It's
That's
never
not
going to work. And it's not going anywhere.
No.
Either, you know,
No.
this is...
I was surprised how many kids, you know, this affects and how many families it
Well,
affects.
because our awareness has changed so much, you know. I can't bear the term sort of... When people talk about things being overdiagnosed, I don't believe that. I just believe that we've opened our eyes actually to what being on the autistic spectrum looks like, what ADHD is, what neurodivergence looks like. You know, I work in a creative industry. Half the people I work with are neurodivergent.
Same.
So, you know, it's a wonderful thing.
all the better for it, actually.
Yes,
because
exactly.
These people bring such a unique perspective on the world, and it
Absolutely.
actually is an eye-opener.
Absolutely.
And it's a good
so we
thing.
need to nurture that, and we
course
should be
we do.
supporting that. And if that means looking at how education runs as a whole and how we can make it more inclusive and work for everybody, then that's what we need to do.
I think it's brilliant. I think what you've done is
Get
absolutely
off my
amazing.
soapbox in a minute.
No, don't. Do not come down off your soapbox. More power to you. You've done an amazing thing. I mean, even when we've been on the air, there's so many people just saying thank you.
No, that's very
Thank you,
kind.
as you said, for letting me be seen and for making me feel that, you know, people are saying that they're not on their own.
Thank you for having me
You're
on
a
and
smashing
talking
girl.
about it.
You're a smashing girl. Thank you. And Panorama's Kellie Bright Autism School and Families on the Edge, and they are on the edge. It's available on BBC iPlayer.